my house, guess sparkling leaves and left in my pretty bed of green. I had a dream that I could fly from the highest swing. I had a dream. Long walks in the dark through woods grown behind the park. I asked God who I'm supposed to be. The stars smiled down on me. God answered in silent reverie. I said a prayer and fell asleep. I had a dream that I could fly from the highest tree. I had a dream.
Hello everybody! Welcome back to Amity Bloom. My name is Nazi. I'm here to share with you all this journal, and not just this one, but 4 journals that I made. This is just the one that I'm going to be keeping for myself. This collection is called Artist in Bloom. I treated it as a scrapbook, as a workbook that an artist would have. I myself have a workbook / scrapbook for when I'm documenting my art and my creations. And I also have a journal dedicated to just my thoughts and ideas. And I wanted to combine both of those into a journal so that you can document your life in a really creative and whimsical way. And the reason it's called In Bloom is because throughout the book there are phrases that have to do with blooming within yourself. So this one's my journal, and we will flip through this momentarily. These journals are massive, so I will only be able to show one at a time. This one is the blue one, and all of the journals are decorated exactly the same on the inside. They do have different charms, so charms coordinating to the color palette that's on the front cover, and they all come with a woven and beaded bookmark. Of course, glass beads, and the beads and the colors all match the cover. So this one's the blue one. This one is the pink one, and this is the same wallpaper that I used in my personal scrap journal. And all of the covers, the floral images, are vintage wallpapers from the 1930s. And when you feel the texture, you'll know why I am in love with vintage floral wallpapers. The spine is about, if you take the front cover and the back cover, about 3 inches total, but this is 2.5 inches. And I've done some cross stitching here. This is some beautiful embroidered fabric. So this one is the pink one. And last but not least is the brown and blue one. If someone loves the style of a journal, but they don't like the bright hues of pink and blue, these charms are so pretty. As you can see, the charms match the color. You'll notice that the charms are a little bit more muted to match with the color scheme of the brown cover. And for the brown, I decided to do some blue cross stitching. And then here's its little magical patch. For my journal, the spine is actually about 3.5 inches wide. But I thought it was just too massive and too bare, so I decided to collage little bits and pieces of fabrics that I got from the vintage quilt, and of course a vintage button. And then on the back, I added a little fabric patch as well as my little magical patch. So on the cover, I used vintage floral wallpaper, scraps of paper, You'll notice that there's a lot of layering going throughout the journal. The cover consists of multiple layers as well as the back cover. So the front cover, we have one of my fabric flips made out of some lace, some piano paper. As you can see, that's what creates that layered effect, layering different papers together. Here I have a fabric belly band, and I use different mixed media elements on the actual pages. And inside of the belly band, I made a little journal. If you watched my previous video, the journal diaries, where I take you guys through and show you behind the scenes of when I'm creating some journals, I showed a French planner, like a little diary. And so I took that apart and I made it into a little mini journal. And so all of the journals will come with a little miniature little diary book. Here's a ledger that I have painted. And then on this page, I have done a paper flip where you can do some journaling, or you can put an image here. Wouldn't it be beautiful to put like a dried flower on here and then just close the page and have it peeking through? You can get really creative with this, which is why I wanted to call it Artist in Bloom. I want you guys to bloom your creativity throughout the pages of your journals and experiment with things that perhaps you wouldn't have experimented before. And I, of course, will be sharing journal process videos on how I decorate the pages of my Artist in Bloom workbook. And then here is the front page. So this is the back cover of the front page, and then this is the front page to the journal. So on the back of the front cover, we have a pocket right here, and I've just used some of my collaged paper tags that I shared a video on how to make it with you all. And so that goes into this pocket, and the pocket is see-through, so whatever you put in the pocket, you'll be able to see. And then this flips out, and you have some journaling space, and then you have a page to put a picture to do some mixed media. I've added texture to the sides of the pages. And then when you flip this over, oh, I need more room on my desk. When you flip this over on the back of the page, I've taken the liberty to collage some pieces on the pages of your journals. I wanted to be more personal with these journals and create more than just a journal, but an artist scrapbook that you guys can then expand upon. And you can take the little collages that I made as inspiration for how to decorate your journal, but here I just put a little fuzzy cut forget-me-not flower, a stenciled B for blue, some piano paper, of course, and then this is a piece of fabric, and this fabric is actually embossed, I believe. It has texture, and it's the most beautiful periwinkle color. It matches the little vial of porcelain paint that I have on my desk here. Super beautiful. And that's just a fabric page, some vintage French pages, some tea-stained paper, and I decided to create a little journal inside of the pocket that you can simply use, or use it as like a scrapbook, an idea page for how to decorate these pages. Like, the possibilities are endless. And on here I've done a fabric pocket, which of course you can put whatever type of ephemera you'd like in there. And then this flips out, and I've collaged another piece here so that you can do some artwork. And on my journal, I've actually taken parts of the vintage quilt and I have adhered them to the back of the cover because I loved the look of them. For the journals that will be for sale, I've actually, as you can see, it's decorated pretty much the same. I've actually used some of this embroidered type of tapestry upholstery fabric. Really beautiful on there. Ooh, I love that font. So you can see all of the pages are decorated exactly the same. Okay, bye-bye now. So that sums up just the front cover. And now we are starting to flip through the inside pages. So I'm telling you, this journal is incredibly massive. So starting off with the inside pages, here is the woven bookmark that I made. And I've attached some glass beads to the bottom. So you have a bookmark. And then on the front page, let me take this paper clip out to show you. On the front page, I've created a paper flip. and you can do some secretive journaling behind there, but not too secretive because you can actually see through some areas of this paper. And if you notice, this stamp right here at the bottom was actually the antique stamp that I purchased from the antique store. And it's a signature of someone, and I believe it says Lewis Green. And then I've also done some heat embossing on the bottom of a floral, of a little flower blooming. I took a lot of inspiration from springtime, as you can see, and you'll see throughout the book. Here we have some more texture, and then just some vintage pages that you can use for journaling. Here on this book page, I've added a French label. On this page, this actually flips out, and it's some vintage wallpaper that you can collage on if you'd like. And this is a pocket up here, so you can actually take this out if you wanted to. And then this is an embossed pocket. You guys know I've been obsessed with my embossing machine lately. And in the pocket, I've just put a tag in there. On the other side, it's that beautiful wallpaper. I took the liberty to do a little bit more decorating for the pages since I wanted it to be as if you looked and you flipped through my personal scrapbook. Here is some journaling space that I made out of some dyed paper, and then a beautiful floral image which serves as a little belly band for this tag. On the back, I have another one of my scripts. It says, "My soul is warm with," and you can perhaps use it as a journaling prompt. And then in there I have some vintage writing paper and this beautiful French calling card. Lovely little birdie. I really liked how it looked with the black and white of the page. Here's an Edith Holden page with a little bit of embossing, and on the tab there's a little scissor charm. A linen tab here at the top. I didn't go overboard with my tabs, and I wanted to place my fabric tabs on all sides of the journal, just so that on every angle of the journal you see something that catches your eye and makes you want to use it and journal inside of it. This page I shared in my journal diaries, decorating and collaging this page. This beautiful silk ruffle, music paper of course, and this is why I chose it to be the middle signature or the inside page to the signatures. I love how all the flowers look like they're growing from the page. And then on this paper clip, here's a little flower that I made that you can glue onto the page. You can use it as a little text spot. You can just keep it floating around in the journal or attach it to a paper clip or put it inside this little seed packet that I made. It's just some music paper and another quote that says, "My soul speaks in flowers." And that just goes on that paper clip. I didn't want to glue this to the page because I wanted you guys to use it however you wanted to. Even though I did take the liberty to decorate a little bit more in these journals, I still wanted you guys to have control over how you used the ephemera and the embellishments that I made. And then this tag is so cute. These are some little leaves or little flowers, and I've just added them to the tag. And when you put them on the floral book pages, it looks like it's stuck in there, kind of part of the page. I thought that was so cute. A lot of pages, even though it's decorated, you have lots of pages for journaling. Here is some linen, some lace, and a button, of course, a piece of some vintage fabric. The other side of the Edith Holden page, and for my pages I ripped some of the edges, but for the pages in the journals that will be in my Etsy, none of the pages are ripped, just in case you guys didn't like that style. And then here I have another pocket with a fabric tag, and I loved this fabric. It looks like a little meadow of flowers. And then in here, this is some tea-stained paper. I made it into a little booklet. And when you open it up, I have a little sample of some of my favorite paper, a journaling spot, and this is some tracing paper that can be removed. And you have a dried flower from my garden. And so that's why I did these little photo corners out of some scrap paper. And then I just did a little bit of journaling that says "flowers from my garden." and the little sample of the dried flower. And I used the tracing paper to protect the dried flower so that it didn't break or become brittle. The other side of the wallpaper page, and I've just extended it with some paper. I did the same technique in my scrap journal, if you guys have seen that video, or the flip of that video. These are some Shakespeare book pages, some beautiful botanical images. Here in this pocket we have a beautiful embroidered tab charm, and in the pocket this is some more of my vintage wallpaper, and on the back it's a vintage postcard that you can write on or just save it as ephemera just to look at. Sometimes I do that. I just save my pretty vintage ephemera just to look at and for inspiration. And then here is a notepad sheet of some craft grid paper with some little berries. I love how everything in this journal has to do with spring. I was working on these journals in the winter time, but I stopped because I just wasn't inspired. I wanted to incorporate flowers, and I knew I needed to wait until springtime to do that. Here's the other part of the bookmark. And then this is the start of the second signature. I've done a little tuck right here with some fabric. And then this is a quote that I absolutely adore. It says, "Your soul is attracted to people the same way flowers are attracted to the sun. Surround yourself with only those who want to see you grow." And I thought that was perfect to include in here. Some more pages for journaling. Here in this pocket is a floating pocket that I made out of some book pages and this beautiful floral image. I took a lot of inspiration from my recent journal process video that was dedicated to springtime and blooming. So the bulbs of the flowers, some quotes, and you'll see later on I actually used some of the writing that I put in my journal and pretty much included it in this journal. So you have like a piece of my journal in here as well. So then on this page, this actually flips out. Let me move this so that you can see. And you have some journaling space, some floral images, and some more journaling space on here. And that just closes just like that. And you can put your little paper clip here so that it doesn't just open up to the other side of the page. I really enjoyed that. And then I also adore that you can flip it the other way and you have some more space to put some pictures or some secretive journaling in there. On this page, just a botanical image, some of my fabrics and laces, and a little button. You guys know I love my fabric collages in my journals. This image I actually didn't really like, so I'm going to end up covering it up, but these are some book pages from Winnie the Pooh, a vintage Winnie the Pooh book, and I loved the texture and the grit of the paper. So if you don't like the images, you can of course cover them up if you wish. And then this is the middle of the second signature. I did a double pocket, so it's a pocket underneath as well as a pocket on top. And then in this pocket I've included a little digital print that I made, and I wanted it to feel like it was a piece of my journal, kind of making it look as if I wrote on it. And it says, "She lifted herself from the roots, and with them she bloomed into what no one believed was possible." I can really relate to this quote, and I'm sure a lot of you can. I wanted this to be so personal, but yet still so customizable so that you guys can interpret it into whatever you need the journal to be. If you want to use this journal for healing, for your creative process, for art journaling, or for just documenting your everyday life. I wanted these little snippets to inspire you, but that you also had enough room to personalize it yourself. And then in the pocket up here, I created one of my floating piano paper pockets. I have a tutorial on how to use piano paper, as well as what piano paper is. You have journaling space on the back, and then two pockets up here, and then just a piece of some vintage ledger. And that just tucks nicely in there. And then this is actually a fabric swatch. If you watched my journal diaries, then you know that I create fabric swatches for when I'm going to be creating a journal. And so I made one for this journal of some beautiful flowers blooming. And on the back, it's just some tea-stained paper for more journaling space. But I loved this. It's kind of like a fabric journal card. I really enjoy that. Some more pages. Here's a little journaling spot and another belly band made out of a botanical image and a little tag for some more journaling space. Some fabric collages, recipe pages. This is some paper from a vintage scrapbook. I'm very happy that it didn't break and I was able to include it in here. Some beautiful stitching, ledger paper, a pocket, and in the pocket I've included some pages of the 1938 yearbook that I shared with you guys. Beautiful papers. Oh, this is so much fun. So on this page I have sewn on some of my tape measure. It's paper, so it's really vintage and old. This came out of a sewing box that I had. So I wanted to keep with the sewing theme, and I created this. So this is actually a pocket, and in the pocket I have a fabric tag, of course, a floral fabric tag, and then I've used some twine so that it opens up, and this is connected to the tape measure, and this opens up completely, and you have some journal space here, some journaling space here, a little pocket that I made, and I have actually used my die to make my little paper bobbin. It's a deep turquoise in person. It's actually very saturated on camera, but I thought it would be a really cute journal card. And you can replace this with any type of journaling card if you don't like this or if you're not into sewing. I just thought that was really cute, and it went with the blue theme of this page. And then to close it back up, you just take your thread and you just put it back to how it was. I loved this page. It's so interactive. I think that's what I love most about it. Here is a vintage book page that I'm actually going to cover up the image. I don't really like it. I think they're a little scary, so I'm going to cover them up. And then on this page, some beautiful French script, some blue daisies. And then on this page, I put together some bits and pieces that make me happy. And all of the journals have the same layout. A beautiful turquoise button. This lace, oh my gosh, this is handmade crocheted lace that I bought from an estate sale. I fell in love with it and I don't have that much left. So if any of you guys make lace like this, please let me know below. Send me a message. I will buy everything that you make. I just need more of this in my life, and I loved how it looked with the turquoise. What I think is so beautiful about it is that it's a handmade textile piece that's not so common nowadays. So if any of you guys make it, please let me know so I can buy it from you. If you're selling it, I'd love to include it in my journals and to include it in all my journals, of course. And then here, my little flower metal piece, a button, and just a little cluster of treasures. A ledger page. We're almost through. We're 2/3 of the way done. A vintage French book page, a really cute little tab. Oh, this is so cute as well. This is from the antique book that I shared with you all. I turned it into a little pocket. On the back, it's craft paper, and all of them have a beautiful vintage image from the book page, and then there's a little tag inside, so that serves as a floating pocket. I really loved how that looked. Some more paper for journaling. This is actually a full pocket, so this whole thing is a pocket, but you have journaling space on the front and on the back, and then this is just a pocket up here. And then for mine, I actually did it a little bit differently, but for the journals that I will be putting in my Etsy shop, this is how the pages will look like. It's a little music pocket page, and then in the pocket, you'll have some ephemera in there. So this is what this page will look like for all of the journals that will be for sale. The main focal point is this floral image and the phrase. It says, "All plants and flowers start blooming from the roots that are in the earth." And it says April the 4th of 2019. So I wrote this in my journal, the phrase, and I also tried to paint and draw a flower bulb the best way that I could. But I thought it would be really fun to get a beautiful image of a flower blooming with the bulb and the phrase that I wrote in my journal. And then this you guys have seen in my journal diaries. If you haven't already, I really suggest you to watch because you get to see some of the pieces and my process behind making the journals. And this is some embroidery that I did. I loved this little ruffle on the edge, and I think I'm going to continue making embroidered ruffles on the corners. I really loved the look of it. It looks so organic, yet really cute and whimsy. Not one embroidery is exactly the same, which is what I love. And then in the middle of the signature, I created an accordion pocket page. I am so excited about this project. I actually filmed a tutorial on how I made this, and I will share it with you guys a little bit later in the week. But in the middle of the signature, so that you don't see the little strings, and just to make it look really special, I created a little accordion pocket page, just like an accordion book, but you turn it into a pocket page. It's very simple, super easy, and I will be sharing the tutorial with you guys very soon. And I left this part blank because I wanted to use some of my typewriter script phrases, or perhaps I could do some lettering, and I wanted to kind of give a title to this page. So I left it blank there. And in the pocket, each one has something different. So here's a beautiful little tag, some botanical images, and all of the journals will have the same layout in the pocket page. And then this is a bookmark actually. I purchased a set of bookmarks. They are glossy, but I loved the images that came on them, and all of the bookmarks look completely different. They have different types of ferns. This is another type of bookmark that's in the other book. So it's a different image for each journal, but it's still really beautiful. So that's in the middle, and full pocket page here. I love this little image. Some paper here in this pocket. I have a piano floating pocket made out of piano paper, a little tag, and then some more journaling space with some decorative sewing. Even though it's a huge journal and it is decorated and stuffed, I wanted there to be a lot of room for journaling. And also I'm going to be sharing my process video on how I journal in here, so it was really important for me to have that room. Here I have a beautiful piece of linen, some French embroidered trim, and a French button. I loved how this looks all together. Some handmade paper, ledger, tea stained, and then this really cute little flower image. Here is a fabric page from an old quilt. And then this is so pretty. This is the part of the back cover. So on the back cover, I've created a pocket, a really pretty fabric flower. It's a fabric paper flower. And if this is too bulky, you can take it out. I just loved how it looked. This is actually going to be used as part of the packaging. I'm going to wrap all of the journals in fabric, just so that it feels a lot more special when you open up your journal. And then on this page, I created a fabric swatch page, so different types of fabrics, going with the color scheme and the color palette of this fabric here, of the floral on the fabric. And of course, I've included a little midi flip. On this page, I have added some texture, some collaging, and then this is actually a pocket. So there is a pocket right here. It's a linen pocket, some really old linen. And then on the top, I've done some messy sewing lines so that you could do some journaling on there, or perhaps a title to your favorite quote or a song. I have an idea to what I want to do on this page. And of course, I will share a process video. And then here, it's actually a pocket as well. So it's a pocket on the front, and then it's a pocket on the side. So trying to make most of all of the space that I have. On the back, a full piano paper page, a beautiful die cut, some collaging, and then a vintage newspaper clipping. There's some really old newspaper, and I really liked how it looked. And then here's a little belly band, and then I have a tag made that can go in the belly band, and then the back is just collaged with some beautiful papers. And all of the journals have different papers that I use to collage on them, but it's the same color palette. And on the back, I have my fabric patch and then my little magical patch right here that says, "My heart is full." And that is the entire flip of my Artist in Bloom journal collection. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing the flip into this huge journal. I've never made a journal this big, and I have to say I loved every minute of it. Definitely took the longest time that I've ever taken to create a journal, but there were so many bits and pieces in here that are really meaningful and special that I hope that you guys get that same emotion by viewing this video or by holding this journal in your hands. So one last time, let me show you guys the journals that one of you or three of you will be able to purchase. The brown one, the blue one, the pink one. They all have the same types of pages, same types of decoration, and they all have that beautiful floral embroidery and the accordion page in the middle. So if you're interested in purchasing one of the three journals that I have shared with you guys today, either the brown, the blue, or the pink, definitely check my Etsy shop at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. All of them will be listed and you'll be able to see pictures of the journal as well. I really hope that you guys loved this flip through. I had so much fun making these because I really went out of my comfort zone and I tried something new. And I feel like the whole concept of an artist blooming is that you evolve. You try different things out. Perhaps the things that you try out might not work, but it's all about the process. If you don't enjoy yourself while you're creating your art, you won't be blooming. You won't be happy, and there's no point to it. So I'm happy. I loved the journals and the books that I made for you all. Thank you so much for watching. I know that a lot of you guys have been anticipating the flip. Stay tuned later in the week for the accordion pocket page tutorial. Thank you so much for your patience, for your kindness, and for your support. So until next time, I hope that your day is filled with a huge abundance of peace and love, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye!